So if you're trying to scale your business with online marketing, this is the one funnel that has made me in my businesses probably over $15 million over the last 12 years. So I've been using this funnel for that long. It's the one I learned from Alex Hormozi when I was his first employee. And it is the exact funnel that any business I've come into to either help grow in terms of revenue, sales, marketing, this is the one funnel that consistently works and produces to print cash, the saucy cheese. And I'm gonna walk through the exact funnel right now, so that way all of the gurus who, are telling you like, oh, your funnel has to be this, that, and the other, and it's, just watch this video and I will explain exactly what has consistently made money with marketing online, and we're gonna go through it right now. So I started using a funnel like this. I started marketing online with a fitness business in 2013. I basically used this funnel for that. When I came on as Alex Hormozi's first employee, I was his first sales rep. And this was the funnel he was using to scale gyms and to scale gym launch. It's the same funnel he still uses with acquisition.com. And this is the funnel that any business I've come into to help scale and grow, this is the funnel that we help design and set up and or optimize. And it is very simple. And obviously the nuances and the details are key, but I at least want you to know the actual funnel and the flow and the process. There's 5 steps here. It could be 4. You'll see why in a minute. But let's walk through this whole thing so you guys get what I'm saying. Step 1 is pretty simple. This needs to be your traffic, okay? Traffic is, the way I've always done it is with meta ads. I ran my first Facebook ad in 2013. Really bad ad, but it worked. I was getting $2 leads. I'd get a call booked for $10. I'd close 1 in 3 calls. $30 to $40 acquisition cost is pretty darn good. You know what I'm saying? Those days are long behind us. So, traffic would be like meta. Traffic could also, be your content, like you're watching on YouTube right now, right? So content can generate that traffic. Affiliates, right? So you're basically stealing other people's audiences and you either pay them or you split, the profit or the revenue with them based on them sending traffic. There's different ways about it, right? If you've, watched all the content online out there, probably, if you're watching this video, you probably have. There's different ways to generate traffic. You can also do outbound, right? Which we've done a lot of as well. But you got to drive traffic. And then really the first step is a single landing page. The more simple, the better. The landing page is your offer, right? Which is like, your big promise with that risk reversal, with the guarantees, like Alex does an amazing job, I think, with offers. I think that's actually what he's best at. And I kind of learned this from him. It just needs to be an amazing offer. Like the offer has to be insane. We'd always make sure that that initial offer was good. And usually if you're marketing online and you're like a coach or consultant or you're like agency, even if it's like a done for you service, usually this offer is going to be like some form of like a training, or it's like a VSL, or it's like a webinar. I've done live webinar, evergreen, like pre-recorded. It doesn't really matter too much on that level, but like you basically have an opt-in, and the more simple you make it, the better. And this is literally like, whenever we've seen like 30 to 40% conversions or even sometimes 50% conversions on this landing page, less was more, right? So you have like your headline at the top, subhead at the bottom, and then literally name, email, phone number, button. That's this landing page, okay? And typically you want that headline, subheadline, name, email, opt-in. You want it to mimic the like marketing that was in the traffic, right? It's like we want a 1-for-1. If the ad said, get 5 clients in 5 days, you want the headline, get 5 clients in 5 days, right? If the ad was, elite CEOs lose 25 pounds in 6 months or it's free, then the landing page is for elite CEOs only, lose 25 pounds in, X days or it's free. Like it needs to be congruent. It needs to be the same. And that's where you're gonna get a really high conversion where you're actually getting leads. And this would be the lead stage. And then the reason why I have this kind of off to the side, you can sometimes put that VSL or that video on this page and essentially have this be like the opt-in and what I'm gonna put down here, which is booking a call, right? Those can sometimes, we've done it where it lives on the same page. It just depends on how much friction you're trying to put in your marketing, right? Because the more friction you supply, meaning the harder you make it for people to get through the funnel, the higher the quality gets at the bottom. But at the end of the day, what you're mostly concerned about this funnel is what is your customer acquisition cost, like what is the cost in marketing to get a customer versus how much that customer profits your business in their lifetime, right? That CAC to LTV ratio, that's ultimately what matters. And so you can maneuver this funnel and add or remove friction based on how to optimize that number. So then this step would be where that actual video, that video sales letter, that webinar is actually going to live, right? So we opt in for the training and then we consume the training. And then after you consume the training, that call to action is to book a call, right? Book a call. So you get people to book onto your calendar because that's how you're gonna make sales. So they consume the video, they book a call, and then after they book a call, this is also an important video actually, or an important page, is your thank you for booking page. Now, I'm not gonna get super in depth into this, but this is where like you might wanna put a pixel on that step and on that step so you can tell your traffic mechanism, hey, this is the conversion, right, that I'm trying to optimize for, unless you're trying to optimize for leads, which usually when you start a campaign, you want to optimize for the first conversion event you can, in which case you put a pixel between these two, right? And now I'm optimizing for opt-ins here versus calls here. But if you have that video, right, and the opt-in slash the booking the call, that's all the same opt-in, that you're capturing name, email, phone number with booking the call, then obviously you just have that one step, which is why this is off to the side. It can be traffic, consume the content, and book the call, and that's the conversion I'm trying to optimize for. Literally, this is what has worked over and over and over. So then you got your thank you, and then the last step really is the call itself, which if you can, have it on Zoom, or if you do it in person, or however your business works, and that's where you're actually gonna collect the cash. Okay? And then you probably have a flow or a funnel for onboarding and activation with your client. This is the exact funnel that has continually worked for me and almost, well, every business that I've been in, whether like our company was brought in to consult and help scale the sales or whatever. A couple of little things that I want to add so you guys get some extra value from this. You can also add an application, which is like a qualifying form where people apply to work with you. So there's kind of technically like this next little step you can add, but this again is like a lead filtering thing. So it would increase the cost per call, but increases the quality. And so if more of those people show on the calendar and you convert more of those people, even though your cost per call was higher, your cost per showed call is lower, and your cost per acquisition, your cost per sale is lower. Hopefully that makes sense. And so what you can do on this book a call step is you can also add an application. And this is where you can add a little bit of lead filtering and have like that prospect lean in and start to frame themselves in like a buying sort of mentality, right? Because if they're gonna book on your calendar to talk with you about your service, you want them like willing to spend money, right? And so on that step, you might have a financial qualification. You might have a willing question, right? So like with fitness, it's like, hey, if you had the exact plan, blueprint, and accountability structure that would enable you to lose the weight and get in shape the way that you want, are you willing and looking to hire a coach, right? Or are you like ready to join a mentorship mastermind group program in order to obtain X results? So there's a question that's saying that the prospect's filling it out. It's like, yes, I am willing to do that. The finance is like, hey, in order to do this, you need to make this much money, or like to get this result, it usually requires this type of investment. And obviously you can tell with how you write and phrase these questions, it's gonna either deter people that you don't want to deter. For example, if you sell a business opportunity where you're showing people like how to start a coaching business or how to start a business online or like how to make money day trading, you obviously don't want people booking onto your calendar who have no money, right? They can't spend the 5, 10, 15 grand that they need to be able to spend to do business with you. You want to be careful that you don't you don't want to say like, oh, Do you have $10,000 to invest in a program? It's like a little too obvious. Just tell them the price. You never want to tell people the price before you have a sales conversation. But you might want to use like secondary type of questions that still get you the information to know if they are financially qualified. Meaning like, hey, you need to have this amount in savings in order to invest in your business, right? And so it's kind of hitting both, like they have enough money to actually do the business vehicle that you're selling, but they have finances, right? Or, hey, you need to have a full-time job because you're gonna build this on the side and we wanna put you in a good position while you're building, right? So this way you're not getting people who are on disability or who have a part-time job or like a barista and going to school. Like you're getting full 9-to-5 or strong W-2 income earners, right? Willing, and then you want something on timing as well. And so in that application, you can also put like, is this something you're looking to do now? Is this something you wanted to put off? You know, what sort of timeline are you looking to get into something like this? You have like a timing one as well. And then you can also, this is pain and gain, you can also have a question or two in there that gets them emotionally connected to the pain and problem they're wanting to solve, or the gain and solution, like where they're trying to get the outcome, you know, getting connected to that. And so you can add that application. And then the thank you page is where you'd want content binge to happen. So you can probably see like, we're getting more and more skeptical now as buyers, and especially in the online space. Unfortunately, there's been some bad actors and players who did scams and like false promises and things like that. So people are very eerie of like just randomly doing business with someone when they see your ad. And so you want to have a content binge where it's like, hey, thanks for booking. Consume this content before the call, so that way you can build some brand awareness, brand authority. You can continue to build some trust and goodwill. You can share social proof, case studies, right? And people can actually start to build that trust with you, so that way when they get to the sales call, they feel better about transacting. You don't have like this think about it, hey, let me research you, let me do my due diligence, all that kind of stuff, okay? This is the whole funnel that works, and there's things you can do like to optimize it, and I'm not gonna get into all the details with it now, but also you can put setters at some of these drop-off points. So opt-ins who then don't book calls, let's work those leads, right? And get more of them to that video or to book a call and go through that booking process. Or people who book and didn't show, let's rebook those people, right? And get them rescheduled and get them on the calendar. So there's other things that you guys can be doing as well. But at the end of the day, you want a call funnel because you need to convert people. You need a place to take cold traffic or people who've never heard of you through a funnel. And you're gonna catch maybe 20, 30%, maybe even less, 10%, you're only gonna catch a certain amount of people through the funnel, through this like 7 to 10 day conversion process. The other people, you now have in email, you now have in your content, they started subscribing to your stuff. And so email and content is now nurturing the other 80% to eventually retarget and send back through the process. And this is that evergreen, learning and optimizing funnel that actually helps you make money. If this was helpful and this helped bring clarity, please let me know. Also comment below anything that you would like me to cover that maybe I didn't cover in this video, and I'll catch you on the next video.